Welcome to Season 6 of CX in the Wild with the global voice of CX, Dennis Wakabayashi. Embark on a safari into authentic conversations with emerging CX leaders and brands. The adventure starts now.
Welcome back to CX in the Wild. Today, we're exploring the relationships between artificial intelligence and human insight. In an era where personal connection and efficiency are paramount, the fusion of human and machines is transforming how businesses interact with customers, making every encounter more meaningful and effective. And to guide us on this discussion, we're thrilled to have Kelly Uhlrich, COO at Humach, who is at the forefront of this transformation. Kelly, it's fantastic to have you with us today.
Well, thank you so much, Dennis. It's a privilege to be here, especially in light of it being Women's History Month. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for bringing that up. The reason I wanted you to be here is I've had an opportunity to work with you over the last few months. As a COO, I found you to be a really great balance of tough as nails and nurturing and empathetic to the unified team goals. So I think you're a fantastic voice to share with our audience. And especially, I think about people like my daughter. If she can grow up to be a leader like you, I think she'll be very successful. So thank you so much for being here. Having said that, Kelly, let's just start out with your backstory. Can you tell us about your journey leading up to your role here at Humach?
Well, sure, I would love to. So my journey, Dennis, started 30 years ago. Actually, this coming November, I will have been with our company, the three different iterations of our companies, for 30 years. So I'll just tell you a little bit of that backstory and a little bit about that history. So our company was founded in the late 80s as Advanced Datacom. And that was a traditional brick and mortar call centers surrounding the Midwest area. If we move forward to 2006, Advanced Datacom was actually acquired by the Working Solutions group of companies. We changed our name to WS Live, and I'm sure you're familiar with Working Solutions being one of the pioneers in the contact center work from home space almost 30 years ago, and long before the pandemic made it much more acceptable. Then almost a decade ago in 2015, we actually decided to bifurcate our company. So we spun out the WS Live assets and piece of business, and we acquired a technology company, and that's when we formed Humach. So the name Humach is a combination of the first four letters of human and the first four letters of machine, and really represents that combination and blending of both of the best of both worlds, like you alluded to. The one thing that's remained constant, Dennis, I'll tell you, through our 36-year journey is really this forward-thinking, pioneering approach that we've taken to technology, as technology has really offered us new paths to operate. Even as back far as the Advanced Datacom days, the traditional, brick and mortar call center in the late 90s, we actually partnered with one of the world's largest communication companies to automate their validation process. So again, this is back in the late 90s. We were also thinking about automation and how you keep the human in the loop, to significantly reduce customer and agent effort. Then, of course, just being pioneers in the work from home space, when it comes to technology throughout those days of unsophisticated internet, and being early adopters of some of the cloud infrastructure. We actually hold some patents on dynamic scalability in the cloud. And then, of course, our last decade adventure of really embracing AI and automation and the blending with humans to enhance customer experience. So that gives you the whole story, a little of our history and my journey, as I've been, privileged to be a part of this journey for 30 years, coming up at the end of this year.
You mentioned so many things there.
A long history.
Yes, and the evolution of our relationship with technology as humans. We had the Industrial Revolution where we recognized the physical benefits of machinery. And then through the 90s, we saw this information and automation, to your point, as a transformative moment for humankind. We suddenly could think bigger and wider at scale, and automation certainly played a big role in that. But now, here we are with AI. AI's not just empowering us with knowledge, but it's actually thinking for us in a lot of ways. And you've seen this adaptation of humans and machines. What is it? What should we be thinking about right now with AI and human existence?
What should we be thinking about AI and human existence? I mean, really, the point that hopefully I tried to make is that a human is never replaced by machines. So humans are always fundamentally at the core of our innovation and our business. So both the customer experience and the agent's job, rightly, is greatly enhanced by blending those solutions together using human knowledge and problem solving and empathy and relationship and creativity to really complement each other with neither of them standing alone. That's really what we should be thinking about, is that humans will always remain at the core of machines, AI, machine learning, all of those things.
One doesn't live without the other, to your point. and but I'm really curious about the pioneering in this space, because I use AI, but I'm not a pioneer. You're pioneering technologies with human insight in the customer service realm. What do you look for? How does that come to be? How is it as simple as you see challenges and opportunities where AI can augment agents, or do you think about more than that? Help us understand, what's it like on the frontier there?
On the frontier. So, first and foremost, the thing I'd say is we've really always been driven and inspired by the idea that there is a better way to provide meaningful customer experience. And
Mhm.
whether that is through humans or it's through technology. And, when Humach was just a twinkle in our eye over a decade ago, we started seeing companies looking at wanting to cut costs, and you saw labor arbitrage starting to set in and increased wage pressure and competition. But we also started to see some amazing enhancements and some pioneering in the technology world when you started seeing Siri come out. And then, of course, Alexa was introduced to the world. I think back in around 2014, right when Humach was a twinkle in our eyes. So we were inspired to really reimagine the contact center space once again, where we could not only help companies with some expenses and some cost cutting through AI and automation, and just as important, help create this higher skilled contact center agent that we could pay a higher wage to, but always keeping customer experience at the forefront.
Yeah, I've been watching this evolution over the last couple of years since GPT and a lot of
Mhm.
entrants, and whether they call it co-pilot or agent assist or whatever you want to call it, you do see agents who maybe the onboarding process was a long learning curve, or the complexity of an existing customer care solution was a lot to get under your belt. We see that it's getting easier for agents to serve customers, and it makes them more powerful. I think that helps with attrition too, because so many times agents just get frustrated because they have the desire to serve, but it's really hard in their ecosystems. And I'm just curious, can you talk to me about the how AI is helping businesses connect better with their customers?
Sure. So, and you named a couple of solutions already. But if you think about it from a past perspective, there really were limited platforms. So, kind of in the older days, customer concerns were relegated to an in-person customer service desk in some store or physical call centers, using databases or some form of FAQs to try to answer questions or solve customer problems. And that process was slow and frustrating. And we didn't have some of the systems we have now that could alert you to the history we actually had with certain customers. So, under a lot of circumstances, Dennis, these problems really don't exist anymore. So when you fast forward to today and you think about AI, along with some of the other technologies we have out there, they've provided us opportunities to help businesses connect with their customers in their preferred method, whether that's through a digital voice or a digital chat or a phone call or a text or a social or an email. And we know that AI and technology can lead customers through to an efficient, automated process as appropriate for their needs. Of course, always, allowing them to escalate to a live agent immediately based on their customer needs. So again, some of the solutions and products you already mentioned, whether that's digital voice or digital chat, being able to automate simple tasks, it's agent assist, in improving the speed to proficiency for agents, improving the information that can get out to customers to help solve some of their questions that they have even before getting to a live agent, which leads right into the custom language model. And you talked about Chat GPT, which is really based on that large language model. And, at Humach, we have really focused on a more custom approach to training AI for specific businesses and use cases to work with a custom language model that actually increases the learning time for AI and overall efficiency and accuracy, and reduces hallucinations and irrelevant content and a whole host of things.
It just sounds like your technical bench is so deep. So on these, I want to just understand that. So your custom solutions, is this a matter of you have, and just help me understand, you have an industry vertical, let's just call it insurance or healthcare, and you have conversations that are happening in that channel addressing particular customer concerns. And all of that content is being gathered by your large language model, and that is being AI'd, for lack of a better term. And so that gives your agent sort of this augmentation of vertical knowledge, so that when it's applied to a particular brand, the brand is sort of instantly augmented with the industry customer experiences that are most well known and can be conveyed. Is that accurate?
You're catching on here. The first thing I'd say, though, is we don't utilize the large language model. We utilize a very custom language model. So, for instance, if you're a customer in, like you said, the healthcare vertical, basically how the custom language model works is we gather all of the knowledge we possibly can from you, and we ingest all of that knowledge. And that could be things, Dennis, like PowerPoint trainings. It could be YouTube videos, as a healthcare company you have. It's your whole entire website, all of your FAQs, basically anything we can get our hands on, all of the knowledge pertaining to this particular vertical, and then even more specifically pertaining to what this customer does. And we ingest that into the custom language model, which then trains itself. Of course, we have humans in the loop that help train it as well. And we're able to get really what you see coming from ChatGPT, which is this robust answer, and so much knowledge, and much more than just a simple answer to an FAQ. It scours that database and all of the ingested information we put in there to come back with the best, most natural answer to whatever question the customer might have. So you can use that on the customer facing. You can also use it to help, like you mentioned, fuel the agent as agent assist, and help the agent, in real time solve whatever query they're trying to solve with the customer.
So here's what's going through my mind right now. You've been doing this for a while. I covered a number of startups coming out of the gate a year ago. ChatGPT hit, suddenly people understood it. There were some first movers who had a great advantage at understanding GPT. They leveraged OpenAI's API to get that large language model to work against custom data that they would be able to create these repositories there. And I think what was interesting there is they were leveraging this well-known brand and solution. They were tailoring some solutions, but it was all in the cloud. It was all virtual. They had a great story. I even loved this story because I hadn't really heard about this before. But now I'm talking to you, and it's nothing new. You've been doing this before the GPT stuff, and is that right? Like you've been ahead of this for a while.
Yeah, we're definitely not a Johnny come lately. It's funny. You mentioned, Chat GPT came onto the market, and all of a sudden, all of these things that we've been talking about for the last decade, it's finally like this light bulb has gone off where people now actually understand the use of AI, how it can help improve customer experience. And all of those things. So while 10 years ago we weren't starting with the custom language model, large language model, we have slowly over the last decade been working up, starting with automation, and so many things have improved even in the ways that you can automate and utilize AI, all the way up to present use of custom language models. So you're definitely right. We've been doing this for quite a while.
I don't want to get too deep for the audience or nerd out, but you just triggered a thought in my mind, which is people think of large language models, this AI, as the automation of words. But if you've been creating automations and sequences, your capabilities are not just about creating text on a screen that's really smart. You have automated AI efficiencies around operations and procedures for brands that your new entries to the market who are focused on in and out of text don't have. Am I reading that right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. We won't nerd out. Let's talk. We've talked about the great things about AI. Let's talk about, if you don't mind, just have a balanced conversation. Let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges. It's not a cakewalk, is it? I mean, everybody says they can do it, but can everybody do it?
It's not a cakewalk. It takes a lot of research and very mindful and thoughtful intent when you're thinking about balancing customer satisfaction with the use of AI and automation tools. So, we like to think about it at Humach. When we're talking to, new folks or potential prospects, to take a little bit of the scariness out of it, we talk about it in a journey, and we like to say it's a path to automation. So, dip your toes in. We're here to guide you. Let's start quickly, but slowly, sometimes with some of the low hanging fruit that you're able to automate. And then let's really look at your environment. And many times we'll have the live agent piece, so we can really understand what the live agent is actually doing and interacting and going through. And our live agents actually help fuel what solutions we can bring to the table that we think are going to be the most impactful. We have we call it our wheel of solutions, but basically a whole bucket of solutions that we can pull from and say, now that we understand your business, let's dip our toe in here. Let's bring up this solution for you. So, it's a journey and it's a path, and it's not something that happens overnight. Um, but it's, we see a lot of deer in the headlights, I think, right now. And some companies are a little bit, there's so much out there, Dennis, right? Get kind of in that analysis paralysis. And we say, you know what, dip your toe in. It's challenging, but we're there to guide you on this path to automation.
So I'm a little bit privy because we're partnered about to some of the things that you're doing there. And when you talk about dipping your toe in, because I get analysis paralysis, I talk about this with people every day, and the more I talk to people, the more confused I am. I literally, the potential is enormous, but the practical is oftentimes impossible. And so, can you talk to me a little bit about this dipping your toe in? Because you basically have a little lab, a little compartmentalized way to isolate this learning and this implementation. And it's one of the things that I think is unique to the market. What I hear a lot is people talking about test and learns and do small projects, and they what they're really trying to do is they're trying to land and expand into a brand, and that's fine. I think there's fair reasons to do that. But in your approach, you sort of create a lab, a private little safe harbor where experimentation and learning can happen, and you can dip your toe in. But it's not just dipping your toe in. You can adjust the temperature of the water, the depth of the water. You can put some bath salts in there, or you can put some aromatherapy. Like, you can bring the team in and make it comfortable so that the introduction to the AI journey has a sense of, I think, what I'll call corporate empathy. How about professional to professional empathy or guidance that I don't think is quite prevalent in the transactional relationships or the problem solution. And I think as I say this out loud, it kind of speaks to Humach. I guess I thought about it before as the combination of humans and machines doing a job together. But when I say this, your lab almost it's about humans empathizing with other humans about their journey with machines in part as a ethos. Am I getting too philosophical? Sometimes I externally process, but I'm just trying to wrap my head around it properly. How far off am I there?
You're doing pretty good. Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about this way you go about it that's different? The labs.
Sure. Sure. So again, we really call it the path to automation. And within that path to automation sits Humach Labs.
Okay.
And it's funny, Dennis, sometimes when we talk about it, I can see people automatically, your mind might go to, they must have this clinical laboratory and there's people with lab coats on and it's this actual place.
Yeah.
When really it's the path and it's the philosophy that sits underneath our path to automation is what Humach Labs really represents. And it represents the ability, when I say dip your toe in, what I really mean by that is do something. The rest of the world is embracing the evolution of AI and automation. And if you don't want to be run over by your competitors, you need to dip your toe in and do something. And our labs environment gives you the ability to do that in a very non-scary type of format, where again we're going to guide you, like you said, humans to human, professional. We're going to understand your business. We're going to be handling the live agent portion, which then enables us to really bring up and incubate some solutions in our Humach Labs environment to make sure that they make sense for, and these could be, agent-facing solutions that make the live agent experience better and better for the customer, or it could be customer-facing solutions such as, custom language models or automating transactions and interactions. So dip your toe in, do something, and be with a partner that really understands both the contact center side of it and the AI side of it and how they both play together.
Just I love it because you're right, the clinical laboratory. But you know what it really reminds me of is because I came up through advertising and marketing on the creative side. And as I was younger, because little known fact about me, Kelly, is I'm a nationally famous graffiti artist. So
Oh, wow.
I paint giant murals. I did it very prolifically when I was younger. But because drawing and art have been part of something I do, I often participated in art labs where people who didn't know how to draw, they didn't know if they were going to paint or sculpt or what they knew that creativity was important, but they wanted a safe place where they could experiment building or
Right.
painting. So it's like that. It's a chance to understand innovation in a safe place. I love it. Kelly, tell me about, do you have some success stories you can share? If I'm a brand out here listening, or I'm a professional, a CXer, what does success look like? What is that journey for someone who's done it with you? What does it really mean? How does it work? What does it look like?
Sure. So I might call this the so what, if I may. So,
Sure.
we talk about all of these amazing solutions and all of these ways we're going to improve customer satisfaction. And at the end of the day, whenever I'm talking with a client or talking with a prospect or someone who's just interested, the kind of the punchline and the tagline is the so what. At the end of the day, people need to understand what is in it for me. How is this going to improve my life, my agents' lives, my customers' lives, all of those things. And so that's where metrics and measuring and analyzing results comes into play. And you're really looking for a number of different areas of improvement. I'll just list off a few. But customer satisfaction, we've saw an improvement of 8 to 10% on just a traditional Likert scale for customer satisfaction when you're using some of the tools in the tool set, from agent assist to sentiment analysis and predictive intents and dynamic scripting. Of course, you can see some reduction in cost from the ability to automate. And you should be looking at from anywhere from 14 to 20% reduction in cost. You can see improvement in error rates. So with having all of these solutions now that can help guide the agents, certainly, that allowing them the ability to take the proper steps they need to, minimize errors. Of course, reduction in average handle time, first call resolution improvement, and agent time to proficiency improvement. So if I understood your question correctly, to me, it's really the so what. What are the end results and gains? And most importantly, is it enhancing the customer experience?
So, yes to all of that. But we've done all of these things before. That's how we got these metrics. When you come in, do you replace solutions that previously did these things, or do you improve the solutions?
Right. We improve or enhance, or let's say augment.
Okay.
So if you just think of very, very traditional contact center, average handle time. Let's take that metric. That's, everybody knows average handle time.
Yeah.
And in the traditional sense, what we're using to improve that was, of course, reporting and business analytics, but a lot of
Sure.
times it was coaching and QA, right? That's
Okay.
what we did to try to improve that metric. We still do those things. Those things don't ever go away. That's fundamental 101, core contact center operating processes. What we do is, by the integration of tools like Agent Assist, call summarization, which can give the agent a very nice summary of the call that they don't have to spend 3 minutes typing out at the end of every call. Dynamic scripting, those tools, when we place them and we partner them with some of the more traditional coaching and human elements we have, it actually elevates that and helps to reduce average handle time, as one example.
You make the person better.
Right.
Stats get better. That's fantastic. Well, we have a few more minutes left. I do want to talk to you a little bit about your leadership, your team, and I'm curious about, as you're managing people, technologies, implementers, technologists. Can you talk to me about how do you foster a culture of collaboration between technology specialists and customer service teams so that they work in harmony?
That's actually a great question. So the key word in your question, Dennis, is culture. And really, you have to decide as a company what your culture is going to be. And I think truly what differentiates Humach is that we focus both technology, innovation, and human capital equally. We focus on both of those equally. So we're still, again, doing all of the traditional things. We staff, train, provide oversight to live agents, and at the same time also pioneer technology, including AI, to benefit, both the people that are doing the work and the businesses and the customers that are relying on these services. The other thing we do is, we purposely employ technology specialists who have a background in contact centers and understanding of agent and customer effort. It's kind of like that old saying, don't people say, you probably wouldn't take your car to a mechanic who has never owned a car before, so we purposely employ technology specialists who have that background in contact centers. And the last thing we do that I think is pretty cool for Humach is that we've created our own proprietary AI certification training for our agents. So this allows us to train them and help them understand the role of AI and the role that it plays in their jobs, the benefits that it can be to them and to customers. But we also utilize our frontline folks to help us identify AI and automation opportunities for our clients. And we train them to be part of the solution. So Dennis, gone are the days, technology has advanced so much that gone are the days where you need hundreds of data scientists in order to build these machines and make them work. You still need highly technical folks, but you can actually blend them with your customer service team who can be part of the solution now. And the customer service team themselves can help to train and tune the machine and conduct ethical reviews of the outputs. So it's really a combination of all of these things that fosters that culture of collaboration and teamwork amongst the technology specialists and those frontline important agents.
Yes to everything you said for your business and for the businesses out there, the listening. Here's what touched my heart about that. The certification, the empowerment of the front lines, but the recognition, the positioning of your front line to be the heroes of the new era of our industry. It means the world to me. I don't know if we ever spoke about this, Kelly, but I spent the last year interviewing frontline agents around the world in some of the more adverse conditions for agents to learn what it's like on the front lines, because our frontline agents, they're really something special. And the fact that you're making them the pioneers of the new era, the new frontier, it just warms my heart. Kelly, before we go, I also want to talk to you about what's going to happen in the future. You are an expert in the field. What's on the horizon for our industry? And just selfishly, what's on the horizon for my daughter, who's going to be a woman in business one day? What advice do you have for the industry and for the young women out there who are entering the workforce?
Sure, both great questions. So Technology is advancing at breakneck speed, like we all know. Actually, our CEO Tim Holney, for this last year, has been saying it's just the wild, wild west out there since, particularly since the onset of ChatGPT entering the market. So, bottom line is for companies, AI and automation and this whole digital transformation world we're living in now, it's here to stay. So I'll go back to what I said previously. Embrace that evolution in the interest of enhancing your customer and agent experience. Try to avoid the analysis paralysis and, do something. Dip your toe in the water and do something, and make sure that you're working with technology companies or partners like Humach that have history and use cases and can guide you along that path, because it's not going away, right? It's here to stay. So embrace it. As far as your second question was, what's on the horizon for your daughter, who I'm sure is as wonderful as her father. So, the world is hungry for leaders and people that can truly make a difference out there. So, I'm not sure what field your daughter might be going into, or any other wonderful people, listening to this podcast, but, be a leader. Don't be afraid to be innovative and really put yourself out there, and look for companies and look to work with people that have some similar characteristics, and look at the world through the lens that you look at it through. So there you have it.
Kelly, thank you so much for spending time with us today on CX in the Wild. It's an honor to have you. Thank you for all the work you do in the industry. It's been a pleasure having you on the show today.
Well, thank you so much. It was an honor and a privilege for me as well. Thank you, Dennis.
Hopefully, today's exploration with CX in the Wild has unearthed fresh CX insights for you. Be sure to explore previous episodes or share this podcast to invite others on our safari. Have a great suggestion or want to be on the show? Reach out to Dennis on LinkedIn. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the wild world of CX.